What's going on, y'all? Blue Falcon here, coming to you with another video. So this one is interesting because apparently Michael Obama
No, 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 no.
oh, nah. I'm joking. No. I'll save the conspiracies for another time. But on a serious note, Michelle Obama, apparently she was getting a lot of flack for dropping some bombs, relationship bombs, and tips, tricks. I won't say tips and tricks, but she was just dropping a lot of truth, and this really pissed off a lot of modern women. So let's actually check out what was being said. So as you can see from the title, it says Michelle Obama says marriage is never 50-50.
We want everything now. We want everything quick. When life is everything but that. We have to understand that marriage is never 50-50. And you sort of wonder how that idea kind of got out there. I have found that if you stick with it, over the course of your entire relationship, you may have 50-50 over time. But if I look over my marriage, if I were to judge it in year 5 or year 10, there was never 50-50. Somebody was always giving way more. Someone always needed a different kind of thing. You have to evolve with it. And so, there were times when I felt like I was 70% in and he was doing 30%. But I think that, and I've had to compromise as he has. I've had to, because of the choices that I made in the terms of how I wanted our family to look. Yeah. I had to take my foot off of my career gas pedal, never putting on the brake, but slowing up a little bit. Those are the natural compromises that are required. And I feel bad when I see young people giving up on their relationships because there are periods of hard. There are periods of discomfort. As I have told young people who ask me about marriage, I was like, you have to be prepared to have long stretches of discomfort. And long, I mean, it could last for years. And don't put kids into the equation, because that's just another layer of complication. You love them to death, but they will shake your marriage up and turn you both upside down. So I think it's important for us to be honest in those conversations, not to glamorize what a partnership feels like, because then young people quit too soon. They quit before they've really, played out the full scenario. So we want everything now. We want everything.
Wow. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I had my phone out, and that's because I was actually taking down notes. So these were literally my notes while listening to Michelle Obama, because I think a lot of stuff that she was saying right now had a lot of truth and merit to it. And one, I'm not here to talk about whether I agree with Michelle Obama or Barack Obama from a political standpoint, because that is irrelevant to the topic of discussion. Right now, they're only talking about marriage and whether or not it's 50-50. So the thing that I found very concerning with this is that apparently a lot of women were attacking Michelle Obama. There were comments that were stating things like, I would never, and this is comments from women, I would never go through long stretches at a time of discomfort. And, and it's weird because, I think ultimately that mindset of the modern woman, I think it just shows us today why that term even exists. It's modern. It's not the way women of old thought at all. I mean, the contrast is extremely apparent. I could even talk about my own family. I'm sure everybody would like to think that they came from the best family in the world, and kudos to you. But I do know that in my own personal family, there was a lot of ups and downs. I never really thought too much about it because I still thought it was functional. And I actually think the reason why it was actually even important to actually witness that in the home is because despite seeing my parents at odds with one another, I also got to see the aspects of conflict resolution. You get what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't like this glamorizing of the marriage like Michelle pointed out towards the end of the video. Like, I think there's this idea that when you get married, everything is going to be all hunky-dory. There's going to be a bunch of fairies and pixel dust, and there's going to be this nice cloud and beautiful rainbow, and that's just not the case. Like, marriage is glamorized, and we don't understand that there are going to be ups and downs. That's just part of it, and that's not something that I think people should shy away from, but rather they need to embrace it. But if you are listening to a bunch of fairy tales, like if your idea of what marriage and what a relationship should look like is only based off of Disney Channel, then of course whenever you see any signs of hardship, the first thing that you're thinking about is running away. And again, there's a lot of nuance to this. I'm not talking about a person that's in a toxic relationship. If you're in a toxic relationship, by all means, if separation is necessary, fine. But we talking about just the average disagreement, and people just totally give up on the situation. And by people, it's mostly women. Divorce is headed up. Is actually initiated 80% of the time by women. So I want you guys to actually understand that, and this is why I appreciate Michelle Obama, because it seems like in her speech she's actually targeting the young women today. But it's just like any sign of discomfort, and you have people that just want to run away. So here's one thing that I really appreciated. She mentioned that, it's never 50-50. There were times where she felt that she was given 70%, while, obviously Barack was probably given only 30. Okay, we're not there to analyze their relationship. We don't know. But I can say this. I'm sure there's some truth to it. This idea that we all equally provide. And there's going to be some times where me, as the man, I'm probably, falling short. I'm sorry if I'm not Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I'm not Jesus. I'm not the Most High Yah. I'm not, I may make mistakes. There may be times I fall short. And maybe my wife is probably doing a lot more for the relationship than I am. Okay, now should she leave me? I would hope not. But you see, if she had a modern woman's mindset, right, which my wife doesn't, by the way, I'm just giving an example, but if she did have a modern woman's mindset, then she would just easily, I'm not going to put up with this and leave, right? But what about if it's the reverse? What if I'm actually doing what I need to do and she's falling short? So men, are you going to just run away on your wives? Oh, she's not doing what I need her to do, so I'm out. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. That actually speaks to a lot of immaturity. You get what I'm saying? People are going to fall short at some point in time. It's understanding that they're going to fall short and still having the understanding that I'm going to support them even as they are falling short. It's even in the Bible, it mentions that a righteous man falls down 7 times and get back up. But I guess you're never going to see if that person's righteous, right? Because at the first fall, they're gone. 7 times they fall, but they get back up. So how about you allow your spouse to fall down those 7 times? Just stick with it, you guys. One thing that I thought was very beautiful was the idea that, she mentioned that her career slowed down and that it was something that she actually had to understand, and she was willing to go through that compromise. I think that is 100% spot on. We live in a society today, thank you feminism, right? But we live in a society today where women put so much value in their careers. I literally posted up a YouTube short talking about the same exact thing. I think the guy from Fresh and Fit was saying that these women would literally put on their best clothes, right? A proper suit, a proper whatever, you get what I'm saying? Get dressed up nice and professional for that job interview when it comes to their career. But when they come home, they'll put on, makeup, they show the cleavage, mini skirt, and then they head out and they go out with their girls to the club. And if their man says, "Where you going? Why you dressed like that?" Who are you talking to? Right? There's all this rhetoric all of a sudden to justify why she's dressing like a whore. And that's what it is you're dressing like a whore. You get mad at that, but you have so much disrespect for us as your man, the one that actually cares for you, the one that actually has your back. You're here to fight your man over clothes, but when it comes to going out there into the world and working, you don't care about that. You're going to do it, and you ain't going to even bat an eye. You're not going to question. You're just going to go straight to your job, and because they're giving you money, because they providing for you, right, quote unquote, you cool to submit to their rules and their regulations. You see, that's fundamentally hypocrisy. But getting to the point, though, is that I just find it very sad that women put so much stock in their careers. And I feel like this has fundamentally crippled relationships today. It really has. It's done us a huge disservice because, these women value essentially money. They value money. That's all it is. And that's why you hear people talk about, women and this hypergamous nature that they have, where they'll go from one man to the next man to the next man, all in the name of leveling up. But you're not leveling up. You lack commitment. You lack stability. That's all it speaks to. You lack stability. You lack the ability to actually be in a relationship and ride with it. So you keep going, jumping over and over, and not understanding that, truth be told, 9 times out of 10, if a woman is not making money, a man don't even care. A man would not even care. He's not tripping. He's not getting angry. He's not mad. He's not any of those stuff. But if a man start making money, and hear me out, right? Men do need to provide. That's even from a biblical standpoint. But I'm talking about just even at the smallest sign, he may have got laid off. I'm talking about things outside of his control, right? We're not talking about the lazy guy. We're not talking about any of that. We're just talking about the guy who just legitimately, he just lost his job, right? He just probably lost his job, falling on hard times. Are you going to be a ride or die? Are you going to stick it out with that dude? Or from the moment he don't make no money, you're gone. Or I don't need a man because I got my own career anyway. I mean, you don't ever hear guys saying that. I at least I haven't. I've never heard a man say, I make my own. I don't need a woman. Like, that sounds real. But again, 80% of women is the one that initiate the voice. Another point that she mentioned was that the young people today, right, they give up too soon. That is facts. I mean, we really do pale in comparison to the generation of old. I mean, you just look at the stuff that our forefathers, the grandma, grandpa, what they went through. I'm talking about they went through some rocky stuff. I mean, the father could have been ripping and running, could have been a rolling stone. Papa was a rolling stone, you know what I'm saying? Just smashing a whole bunch of chicks left and right. And grandma always stuck by his side. Why? Because fundamentally, even the image, I really hope you guys are paying attention to this part in particular. Even the image of a stable home goes a long way. There's a lot of turmoil that may be going on behind the scenes, but just the image of the father and the mother being in the household. We talking about tons and tons of statistics that proves why it's better when both parents are in the picture. So here we have single mothers statistics, right? And this is from singlemothersguide.com, so you could check it out for yourself. But look at what it says. Single motherhood has grown so common in America that today 80% of single parent families are headed by single mothers, as I was mentioning before. If we scroll down, notice what it says, right? It says 11,016,000 single parent families, right? 79.5% headed by single mothers. 23.4% of this total number here, right, were poor. 29% of this number jobless the entire year. 27.7% were food insecure. Oh boy. I'm scrolling down a bit more. It goes into employment. It says 29% jobless the entire year. 22.4% received unemployment benefits. Income. Median income for single mothers was $49,214. Median income for married couples was $101,517. So you see how you're putting your child at such a drastic disadvantage because you're choosing to be single. And I could go on and on. You have the poverty. It talks about 35% black families were poor, 43% native families were poor, 26% white families were poor. So notice how notice amongst the minority groups, we're the ones leading the charge when it comes to this, right? So, again, you could check out the website for yourself. But what is the point? I feel like ultimately, I know, and the statistics are there to prove it, but we are really doing ourselves a disservice by breaking up the family home, you guys. And, again, I really just wanted to touch on this because, again, marriage is not gonna be this thing where it's gonna be all cotton candy. I mean, that's the only way I could think about it. Because it's really a fairy tale that people are building in their minds. I was watching this one video where this one girl said that women, perhaps they don't even want marriage. They want just the image of marriage. They want to be able to you stunt on their friends who has the biggest ring. They want the appearance of walking down the aisle with a white dress, which they probably shouldn't even wear anyway if they're not virgins, but that's another story. They want to walk down the aisle and have people be in awe because this is your big day. They want to probably experience even going on their honeymoon. They want all these benefits and privileges of marriage, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty and what it takes to keep these marriages functional and actually stable, they're not willing to put in the work. And I actually appreciate this message from Michelle Obama because here she is, this way, right? This way. The camera is opposite, but here she is actually breaking down that no, there's gonna be long stretches where things are not gonna be comfortable, but are you willing to actually ride it out? After all, that's where the term ride or die even came from in the first place. Are you a ride or die? Are you going to stick with your man? And people are probably going to think, oh man, here he goes talking about the women again. Look, I literally made a video that addressed the men and where they fall short. But right now we on the women. And mind you, I hope the men can hear this too, because women is not like men is in the clear neither. Women head up 80% of divorce, but there's still 20% that's headed up by men. Now granted, I don't know every single scenario. Some of them was probably justifiable. Maybe there was instances of abuse. Maybe we don't know. But believe me when I tell you this, abuse is not in all these cases. domestic violence is not in all these cases. 9 times out of 10 is just because people realize they want a certain level of freedom. That's all it is. I don't want to be held accountable to another individual. But, you know, it really is selfishness, I believe, because here you are, especially if you have children in the mix, you literally are putting them at a huge disadvantage. You really are. Anyway, I don't want this video to be too long-winded. I hope people were able to actually hear what I was saying. And again, I think Michelle Obama did a very good job on this topic. Again, I don't care about what she talks about from a political standpoint. I don't care about her and her family on a personal note. I'm just talking about this particular message right here. Anyway, guys, if you like the video, please like, subscribe, comment down below, because it does help the channel out a lot, you guys. With that being said, Blue Falcon over and out.
Game to win. Game hard.